So in order to be able to create your initial Porteus USB stick, we're going to be a bit indirect here. What you're going to have to do initially is to install Oracle VirtualBox as a a virtual environment. So basically, you just put in Oracle VirtualBox um, into your browser, and you can see we've got downloads here. Let's come up in the Google search. And we've got Windows hosts, and the great thing about the Oracle solution is that it is multi-platform. You can run it on anything, Windows, Mac, or Linux. And that started to download. Now, I'm not going to go through the details of installing VirtualBox. Suffice to say that you're probably going to need admin privileges on the system on which you're doing the install. And once you have gotten VirtualBox, what you're going to do is you're going to create a Linux virtual machine. And in order to do that, you're going to need essentially a CD image of a Linux distribution, an ISO file. So the one that I am working with and that I recommend you go with, because the videos will be using it, is Ubuntu. So if we basically, I believe it's ubuntu.com, type properly. So you go to ubuntu.com, you hit desktop. Well, actually, I just seen we got download over here. So download desktop. And you're going to download this. It's going to ask you if you want to make a contribution. This is something which I often do. I think I have made a contribution to Linux Mint, but not in this case. So you're just going to get your Ubuntu download. This will probably take a little bit of time because it's a 1.4 gigabyte file. So that's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm going to stop the video. In fact, I've already done all of this. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to show you, once you have your download, how to create a virtual machine. Okay, so we've downloaded and installed the Oracle VirtualBox application. We have an Ubuntu ISO image stored in our downloads folder of Windows. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create a virtual machine. So we're going to hit new. I think it's called Xenial, the latest Ubuntu version. So we'll call it Xenial 01. And it's already detected, because we used Xenial, that it was a Linux distribution, and it's Ubuntu 64. Next, memory. Now, I've got 16 gigabytes of memory on this system, so I can give this quite a substantial amount of memory. I'm going to give it 4 gigabytes. I mean, I would say don't give it less than 2 gigabytes. If you're running on a system with 4 gigabytes of RAM, your Windows system, then you can maybe go down to 1 gigabyte, but I wouldn't go less than that. So let's go next. We're going to create a virtual hard disk. So it's a file on your real Windows hard drive that will be used to look like a hard drive for this Ubuntu virtual machine. We're going to create, we're going to use, you have different file formats for this virtual disk. We're going to use the standard VirtualBox disk image. Also, you can decide that you will make the file the full size. So if you're going to make a 40 gigabyte virtual hard drive, then you're going to use up your 40 gigabytes now. Or you can say, no, I'm just going to use storage as I need it. As I start to write things to my virtual hard drive, I will increase the size of the file that represents it. That's called dynamic allocation. That's what we're going to do. And it's giving us a default size of 8 gigabytes. We're going to increase that probably to about 30. And we're going to create that. So here we've created this virtual machine. If we were to try and boot it right now, nothing would happen because it essentially has an empty virtual hard drive. What we need to do is we need to mount the CD or the CD image. So we're going to choose a virtual optical disk, which means we're going to pick an ISO file and make it look like it's an actual physical CD. So if we go to downloads here, I'm a little bit mystified. I thought I had already downloaded this stuff here. Okay. This an ISO, yeah. I'm gonna have to find my my Ubuntu distribution here, so I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, I don't know what was happening there, but for some reason I couldn't see the downloads for my user. But there it is. There's my original Ubuntu download. So I'm going to click on that, and you see here it's now showing that I've got. It's as though I just plugged in a physical Ubuntu distribution CD into this virtual machine. If we look at the system here for this virtual machine, it's a bit like a real physical machine. It's got a boot order, and it's telling me that first it will try to boot from floppy, then from optical, and then from hard disk. So our optical will be before the hard disk, and it will boot. Okay, so then we start up our virtual machine here. So we've picked it. We picked that one. Then I click start. I'm going to maximize this. Okay, it's found the CD and it's booting into the CD. So I'm actually going to walk you through this. You might want to put this at a higher speed, like play it at 1.25 in YouTube, if you're watching a YouTube video right now. Okay, we want to install Ubuntu. Click on that. We're going to download updates so we get an updated version of Ubuntu, because remember, we're working off of a CD, but Linux distributions are being updated all the time. So it's saying, let's take the latest version of any files from the internet. We'll just install the third-party software. That's not a big deal. I'm going to continue on that. So it's telling us that there's no detected operating systems because we created a blank virtual disk. So we're going to erase the disk and install Ubuntu. That's fine. Install now. A little warning, because whenever you're about to write to disks, you need to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Of note, the main partition is going to be formatted using this ext4, which is a Linux format. And this is the same format or file system that we're going to use on the USB stick when we get to that. So continue. And wait a little bit. So just FYI, if you look down here where I've got the cursor, you can see that there seems to be some activity. It looks like we're downloading from the network to the hard drive. So I'm guessing that what's happening while there's a little delay is because, oh, here we are, but because some files were being downloaded, perhaps some update files were being downloaded from the internet. Okay, but here we're going to carry on. So our time zone is New York. We've got an English keyboard, US. Okay, so just put your first name, whatever you want to put there. It's going to call it add Virtualbox, bit generic. I'll call it add Xenial01, the same as. So there's the name that we give to the virtual machine from outside from Virtualbox, and then there's a name the machine knows itself as. So we're going to let it know itself as. In fact, we'll take out the add. We'll just call it Xenial1. Username, add. Make sure that you pick a password that you're not going to forget. I have a standard one here. Of course, it's not particularly important because this is not really a critical system. I always prefer to be required to log in rather than just having an automatic login, even though it's not that important on this system. But anyway, okay, let's go. And this is going to take a little bit of time now because it's going to start transferring files. So I'm going to pause the video again and we'll come back when it's finished doing its file copying. Okay, so the installation is completed in the virtual machine, and we're going to click on Restart now. And it'll give you a message, remove the installation medium, which remember, the virtual machine thinks there's a physical CD in there. You don't have to remove it. It's automatically ejected. So you can simply hit the Enter key. And you will find that it will now boot into the installed version of Ubuntu. Let's let it run for a little while so you can see what it does and how that's supposed to look. It should boot up fairly quickly. Virtual machines tend to boot up much more quickly than physical machines where you've got a spinning hard drive. Of course, okay, so you see that it's booted up in very short order. So let's just confirm that I do remember my password. And here we are, not quite logged in. You'll see a menu appear over here on the left once it's completed its login process. You can see down here we got some disk activity, some network activity, and here we are. So I'll probably stop this video and have a think about the next video where I actually explain what you need to do to go about getting Porteus Linux installed on a USB stick.